Welcome to the official Personality Guru. ENTPs are inspired by innovators motivated to find new solutions to intellectually challenging problems. They are curious and clever and seek to comprehend the people, systems, and principles that surround them. Open-minded and unconventional, visionaries want to analyze, understand, and influence other people. ENTPs enjoy playing with ideas and especially like to banter with others. They use their quick wit and command of language to keep the upper hand with other people, often cheerfully poking fun at their habits and eccentricities. While the ENTP enjoys challenging others, in the end, they are usually happy to live and let live. They are rarely judgmental, but they may have little patience for people who can't keep up. But what are the things that you need to avoid in order to not hurt them? Today, let's talk about the things you should never say to an ENTP. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the official Personality Guru and ring the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. As rational people, ENTPs often look for logical reasons for things and try to figure out why they hurt so much. They try to figure out how to understand what has happened and learn from what they have been through. At first, the shock can be challenging, and even though ENTPs might not show it, they still feel emotions very deeply. They find it hard to talk about their feelings in a way others can understand, so they sometimes try to do this independently. ENTPs have many ways to deal with breakups. Still, they often start by trying to understand what happened and end up wanting to be alone because of how bad and painful the situation is. Even though ENTPs might not seem like the most emotional people, it can be hard to just get over it when they care about someone. Heartbreaks can be very hard on the ENTP soul. At first, it can feel like the end of the world. ENTPs probably won't tell most people unless they trust and feel completely safe with that person. At first, this process can be emotionally draining for them, and they may feel like they want to stay away from people. Because ENTPs want to know everything, it can be hard for them to let go after a breakup. When they care about the person, they often want to figure out what went wrong and might even try to talk to their ex to make things work. They will want to find ways to fix the problems and think about them too much until they are completely worn out. They might try to figure out why they and their partner are breaking up and become sure that things can be made better. The ENTP might even try to stay friends with this person in case they can get back together in the future. This is probably just the beginning. Once they really think about how they feel and how things went, it will be easier for them to move on and let go of the past. Focusing too much on their introverted sensing function, which sends them down a rabbit hole of memories, is a problem for the ENTP. These memories can make it hard for the ENTP to let go or find a way to move on, making them think about even the most minor details of the past. This is more likely to happen with your younger or less mature ENTP. Anything that makes them feel good or keeps them from thinking about the feelings they don't want to face, they go back and forth between being completely alone and wanting to be surrounded by other people. This could mean going out with friends all the time or even having a one-night stand now and then. Whatever they can do to keep their minds off of the pain they are probably feeling and on something else. ENTPs feel these emotions in a way that makes it hard to fully process them immediately. So, that's often what they need to do. ENTPs who are older and wiser know this about themselves and that they can be harder on themselves than anyone else. Seeing that they need to work through their feelings, they can be good at taking some time alone to cry and really let it all out. This is a hard step for most people, so they tend to focus on things that take their minds off their feelings or help them stay away from them. Even though it's not easy, ENTPs must understand how they feel after a breakup. When they are heartbroken and scared because of the breakup, the last thing they should do is ignore how they feel. This doesn't mean they should wallow in their misery for a long time because that can worsen things. At first, the ENTP can let go of these feelings by crying, making art, or talking to a trusted friend about them. Before they can find a way to move on, they need to talk about how they feel, either alone or with someone else. Keeping their feelings inside can make it hard for them to move on, so it's crucial that they let them out. After the ENTP has really let things out, they need to focus on getting their lives back on track. Often, a complete break is best because it helps them get over the past and the feelings they have about their ex. Getting this much distance can make them feel better about the future and even help them see the past more clearly. Seeing what went wrong between them and their ex can help an ENTP look at the situation logically and determine how they can improve and learn from it. The ENTP can often use growth to its advantage. ENTPs deal with the rejection without letting it get to them too much. They don't like to feel like they allow their feelings to control their decisions, making them lose their sense of logic. Instead, when dealing with rejection or criticism, ENTPs want to be logical and find ways to understand why it happened. Sometimes, they realize that it has nothing to do with them and shouldn't be taken that way. In other cases, they might figure out what they could do to improve and avoid being turned down. They like to learn from these things and they prefer to constantly look for ways to grow from what happens. ENTPs don't pay as much attention to how they feel in response, and they might even try to avoid these feelings. However, being turned down can be a little hard for an ENTP when it comes to people they care about. Even if they care about someone, they will likely try to keep their emotions in check and look at the situation logically. Even though this is what the ENTP will try to do, it still hurts when someone they care about turns them down. When someone they care about turns them down, it can be hard for them to deal with, especially if they haven't learned how to deal with their feelings better. If an ENTP has spent too much time hiding their feelings and not learning how to accept them, they will find it even harder when loved ones reject them. They might show their anger when they don't expect to, because these feelings will come out in less positive and healthy ways. When someone they care about rejects them, it's harder for an ENTP who hasn't worked on processing and accepting their feelings. When someone they care about rejects them, it's harder for an ENTP who hasn't worked on processing and accepting their feelings. 1. Have you heard about random acquaintance, celebrity, distant family member? Let me fill you in on the details. Gossip, especially high-detailed gossip, is usually of very little interest to the ENTP. They tend to get turned off by people who spread rumors or who go into long monologues about the behavior of a person who has no actual effect on the ENTP's life. 2. Hurry up and decide. Well, sometimes a decision really does need to be made in a hurry. Unless it's actually urgent, it's better not to rush an ENTP. These types like to stay open to new information and data as long as possible before settling on a decision. They will get frustrated and on edge if they're pushed into major decisions before they're ready. 3. You need more routine and structure in your life. Knowing what to expect day after day is a bone-chilling nightmare for an ENTP. Being stuck in a routine is stifling and creatively mind-numbing for them. New experiences and possibilities stimulate them and keep them mentally engaged and optimistic. 4. Stop thinking with your head. Tell me what your heart says. As thinking types, ENTPs don't prefer to make decisions without analyzing logical data. They get majorly frustrated when they're asked to ignore their logical thought process or tap into emotions instead of truth. ENTPs definitely have emotions, of all types do, and they have feelings and values. But when it comes to decision making, they absolutely have to have their head in the equation as well. 5. This is black and white. Stop over-analyzing it. Thanks to extroverted intuition and introverted thinking, ENTPs see everything from 100 different angles and connection points. They also tend to question binary thinking and pre-established rules. Having to see things in black and white is limiting to them, and being forced to do so will frustrate them. 6. Let's use the reliable, tried and true method. Experimenting is a waste of time. Sticking with a known, tried and true method is a major mood killer for an ENTP. They want to innovate and find a new way to do just about everything. Unless there's really a major time crunch, they'll try to find a way to optimize or rework something in a new and unusual way. 7. Everyone knows. This line just begs the question, do they? Who is everyone? Or just because everyone thinks something, does that make it right? Usually when people say the line everyone knows, they're trying to be condescending towards the person they're talking to or cut off their opponent's argument prematurely. 8. Because I said so. This line will only work to further challenge an ENTP to do exactly what you said not to. They want logical reasons and open discussions before they willingly follow along. The because I said so line is probably the bane of the most ENTP children's existence. What are the things that you think or shouldn't be said to an ENTP? Be sure to watch until the end and share your experience for a chance to have your comment pinned. 9. Fine, whatever. Do you have a tendency towards passive aggression? If so, better leave that habit behind. ENTPs detest passive-aggressive behavior and prefer it when people come right out and just say what's on their minds or what's bothering them. Be direct if at all possible. Before we continue, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the official Personality Guru for more amazing video. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to stay updated with our content. 10. That's just the way it is. Accepting things as they are or being forced to accept something as it lies in direct opposition to the ENTP's dominant function, extroverted intuition. ENTPs are all about innovating, transforming, and finding potential. Having to settle for something just as it is goes against their very nature.